Hi, my name is Janes and today I'll show you something about front-end testing. Okay, we will take a look at some theoretical parts of testing and later we will do some demos in Angular2 framework. So here on the picture, on the first slide, you can see the logo of Angular2 and on the left is a little quiz for you. If you know what this should represent, the left picture, comment down below. It's something in relation with testing. Okay, let's get started. The agenda for today is first we will take a look at motivation for testing, so why to test in the first place. We will take a look at how to do unit tests for JS with a Jasmine framework. The third topic will be test runners. We will take a look at Karma runner. The fourth topic will be integration tests with Protractor. And the last topic will be how to wire all these frameworks together with Angular2 CLI. We will do a lot of demos, so prepare for that. Okay, first, motivation. Why to test? When I talk to fellow developers or I hear testing, I immediately think of this picture, so I don't have time to test. But in the long run, we will see that all this testing actually save us time. Okay, first, why test software? We test software because it gives us confidence to refactor, remove, or extend our code. So if we write our tests and we remove something from our code or refactor, we run all these tests next time and we make sure that we didn't break some existing functionality with our new code. Okay. Also, testing is essential for source control. What I mean by that is that for some open source projects, you need to write tests or your code must pass some tests before your pull request, for example, gets accepted to their code base. Okay, and if we write tests, proper tests, our code is cleaner and more maintainable. Okay, next we have cost of change. This is really interesting because when we write the requirements of some software, the cost of change is really small because we can change the requirement at that point, so it doesn't affect the analysis, the coding and testing and so on. But when we code something and something breaks, it's still really small cost because maybe we discover some bug on the compile time, so we change it and it's all good. But later in the testing and especially production, it's really expensive to change something, especially if something breaks in production or it affects some users, or especially if we have some sort of SLA license SLA agreement, so we could pay some penalties or something. So the whole point of this picture is that as sooner we discover all these bugs, the better it is. So testing soon as possible is the best option to go to. Okay, we will take a look at unit test. Here I chose the Jasmine framework. You can choose any framework you want. You can use Mocha or something else. Jasmine is BDD framework for testing JS code. What does BDD means is behavior driven. So we describe with a test how it behaves, how our code should behave. We have if we take a look at this example, describe block. With this describe block we group some tests together. We give it a description, for example a suite. And test is begins with it function. So it contains back with expectation, and then we have anonymous function and statement. This is a really common way to test something. So we compare two values. For example, true to be true, and if it gives true answer, it's okay, and false is not okay, for example. Okay, we will take a look at some Jasmine. I prepared the demo. Here it is. I will open a code editor. For example, we have a sample here. I have just some HTML. I loaded all Jasmine and the Jasmine HTML and boot libraries into lib, and I import it in the HTML. This loads the Jasmine test framework, and we can write some tests here. I included these tests here, and we can take a look at it. Okay, I have this test from the slides, and this, for example, matcher, not to be so negative. It's all the same, but we have different this method. Okay, to equal is for numbers, and to be is for boolean, and so on. Okay, so if I go to and I run this HTML, okay, it's all good because all tests pass. Example, if we change this to false and we run this, okay, it gives us red, a warning, expected true to be false. Okay, and if we go back and change to true, this is a really common way to test. Okay, but here is I think if we change this, we have to manually refresh the page. So this takes time, and when we are testing something, especially unit tests, we need fast tests. So we will take a look at test runners. Okay, test run. Karma. What is karma? It's not just this picture, but Karma is also a test runner for JavaScript. It's an automatic tool for testing JS against browsers. Here's the thing, it watches the files for changes and automatically runs tests in the browser. It has many plugins. We, for example, will use the Chrome plugin to wire up Chrome to run tests in the Chrome browser. Okay, let's take a look at some demo here. If we go back, I have something open. Okay, I have a project, and Karma has a configuration file. It's really simple. All it does is here under frameworks, we tell it to use Jasmine framework. Here we could do like Mocha and others, and we tell it to where to locate the test files. Here is under test and sample spec. The tests are the same as in previous example, and here if we go down under browsers, we see that we have Chrome plugged in. Okay, here, and if we go to the Karma directory, we can start the test with Karma start and Karma conf.js. So we tell it the configuration file. Okay, this will start the Chrome browser, and it executed all the tests. So executed 404 success. Actually, before we use this karma, we need to install it. So if we go here, I have karma is just an npm package, so we can install it like this: npm install -g to globally install it, and karma CLI. Okay, and look now, we will leave this browser window open here, and I will open the tests in the Visual Studio Code. And look now, when I change some tests, for example this one, to be false, and I hit the save, it will automatically compile and run all the tests. Okay, here it says that one failed, expected true to be false at sample spec.js for fourth line. Okay, that's really cool, and it's really fast. So if I change it back to true and run, 404 success. So in that way we can really easy code and also test when we save. Okay, next we will talk about integration tests. We use a tool called Protractor. It's an npm package like Karma, and it's from the Angular team. It's an end-to-end test framework, and it uses the Selenium server and Selenium WebDriver to run our integration tests. It uses the Jasmine framework to write tests. Okay, let's take a look at demo for Protractor. I have a sample project here. Here, Protractor, like Karma, has also an configuration file. We specify the Selenium address for the Selenium server. Here is localhost vd/vd/hub, and we specify the test folder and file. So here in the same folder, so to do spec.js. Okay, we will start this. I have to look here. We install it by npm install -g Protractor, and we start with WebDriver Manager start. So let's go to the Protractor and start. Okay, this will get started, and okay, now it's started, and we run the integration test with Protractor, and com.js is the configuration file. First we will take a look at this test file. It's the Jasmine framework style test. We have describe block. We go to Angular.js, so Angular1 homepage to the to-do list. So if we take a look, okay, so we can take a look at this website of Angular.js1. Here under to-do, we can see a to-do, and we can edit and add. We will write an integration test which writes here a new to-do. It adds it, it deletes it, and it gets the length of this to-do array. Okay. Here we can take a look at test. We browser.get the Angular.js page. We search for to-do list, to-do text by model, and we send it. So we get this input field, and we send keys. So we write it, and we write this, write first Protractor test, and we click the button with add value. So here it adds it, and we get the all elements in this array with this command. So get text element all by repeater to do in to-do list to-dos. This is Angular 1 syntax. and then we expect it to be 3. So now it's 2, we add 1, expect it to be 3, and then we cross it, so we click it, and the completed amount, which is now 1, gets to 2. Okay, so because we have our test completed and learn Angular completed. Okay, let's run this test. So we have Selenium web server running, and we can launch this Protractor.com.js. Okay, running one instance of WebDriver, and if we take a look at here, it opens a new window, Angular.js.org, and under it wrote and delete completed, and it's gone. It's really fast, so I hope you saw this. And if you go to the, it passed. Okay, on the Chrome browser it passed. Okay, so setting up testing. Usually with all these npm packages and so on, these frameworks, this picture is correct when we are setting up a project. We have no idea what to do. So the Angular team came up with Angular2 CLI. This is a tool, a command line tool, which scaffolds and creates a new project, and it also supports the generation of components, services, pipes, directives, routes, and classes too. It's an automation tool like Task Runner, like Grunt and Gulp, and also supports minification, compilation, unit testing, and end-to-end testing and linting. So unit testing and end-to-end testing are what we are interested in. Okay, let's do a simple project. Here we install it by npm install Angular CLI. I used the beta 4 because beta 5 was giving me some errors. Okay, and we generate new project with ng new and project name. I have done this before, so if we go to the Angular2 CLI folder, I generated this example project. Okay, this one notice, I use the Windows, so you need to run the cmd as admin to run this Angular2 CLI project. Okay, so navigate to the folder like here, cd to the project name, and then run ngserve. This will launch the web server with the Angular2 app. We will wait a bit. This CLI tool is really great because it generates all tests for you. So we will see that we don't have to add any tests for existing components. Okay, and then if we navigate to localhost for 4200 port, it should open our sample app. I have added some things, you will see. Loading, okay, that's good. And okay, example project, I have added a simple list of names, and here is add user, and we can add new name like this, add, and it adds it to the list. Here's a sample counter, how many names are there in the list. We also have deletion of users. If we click on the user, it should delete it, and the count gets corrected. Okay, now we will take a look at how this example is, how the project structure is. So we have quite a lot of files, but don't be scared, because these are all the configuration files which you correct once, for example, and then leave. The project lives here under source app. Here we have the main TS, which bootstraps the Angular2 projects, and then we have the main components. For example project component. We generated the example project, so it generates this example dash project component. Here we have really simple. We have a string array of names. We use the TypeScript here, so we have these static types, and there are 3 names here. And when we call the add user, we push a new name to this array, and when we call the remove user, we splice the array and we remove that index. Okay, if we take a look at HTML, it's really simple. We have title, we have UL and LI for the names, we have the ng4, and the click event handler. So if we click the li element, it removes a user with that name. Okay, and under submit, we have a simple input field with this local variable user, which we passed into this function add user. We pass the user.value. Okay, so we run the tests in the Angular CLI with ng test. This will start the karma, and it will test for these specs, these tests. Okay. I have a few tests here. First, it gets created by CLI. It should create the app, so it expects the app to be truthy. The second one is expect app.title to equal example project. In our example, title is example project, so this will be a success. And I added 2 tests. We can comment out this one. Okay. If we look at this, I commented out, and 4 tests, 1, 2, 3, and 1 in another file gets successfully executed. Okay, I added this test, so expect the app.names.length, so the string array to equal 3 names, so length to be 3. This is correct, so we have 1 to 3 names. And the next test is it should create a user with the name Janis. If I uncomment this, so expect to be 3 like default, and then it calls the add user function with Janis as the parameter, and again checks the length of the string array. So 5 of 5 success. And the last test we will do in this screencast is it should add a user and delete it. So adds user like this, expects the length to equal 4, and then it removes the user and expects the length to be 3. Okay, if we remove this line, it should all this get executed with karma, as we are seeing here on the left side, and 6 of 6 successful. This is the way we run unit tests. We have end-to-end tests included in the Angular CLI project 2. Under the folder end-to-end, we have app.endtoend.ts. Here we have this protractor syntax like page to navigate to, and the first test was already created by Angular2 CLI. And if we run this and ng and e2e, it should execute this. Okay. And later we will add some example tests. This should run the end-to-end test, and later we could add some integration tests here, and it should work. Okay, we get the response from the protractor. It says that it should display the message saying example project could execute. Okay, this concludes our screencast. Thank you for listening, watching. If you have some question, please comment down below. Thank you.